Grab your cup of coffee because it's time for a little inspiration. Welcome everyone here to this glorious Friday morning and another episode of Coffee Time Inspirations. I am so excited to have you guys join me here today, as I am every week, because it's Friday. It's Friday, the sun is shining. We've survived the bombogenesis so far. Hopefully there's not a ton of flooding going on where you're at. I'm sending everyone out there in this crazy weather area some serious love, and that hope everything is going well. And I've got coffee and I'm ready to talk to you guys about a conversation that is a really awesome, powerful one for me, because I think it is important to know not only who our ideal customers are and who we are selling to, but also who we don't want to be spending a lot of time and energy selling to. And so that's what we're going to be talking about here today. So as you're joining me, wherever you're joining me from, I would love it if you would say hello and let me know you're here. I read all the comments personally, and I love connecting with those that are here joining me for these Coffee Time Inspiration posts that I've been doing twice a week on Mondays and Fridays. So with that, I'm going to go ahead, pull up my notes here so we can get started on today's topic. And as I said, we are talking about who you should not be selling to. And I'm going to actually touch base on two groups of people in our lives that we spend a lot of time with. But not only am I going to tell you why you don't want to spend a lot of time and energy on selling to those groups, I'm also going to give you some ideas of what you can do instead that is going to be supportive to you, to your business, and keep a little bit more solid, positive relationships with those people. Now, I get it. When it comes to launching a new business, it is kind of a huge, scary step to put ourselves out there in a way that we've never done before, because you really have to put yourself out there in a new, bold way when you're launching your business. I remember for me, like, doing these videos was absolutely terrifying. And the first video I ever did for business, it was before the days of Facebook Live and Periscope and all of these other ideas. I spent 7 hours, I think it was, 7 hours creating a 5-minute video for my coaching practice. And it was absolutely terrifying to put myself out there in this big new way. And it was 7 hours of like yoga breathing and EFT tapping and everything, trying to prepare myself to do this video. So I totally get how scary it is to put yourself out there. And I get that because it's a little bit scary, we tend to gravitate to those places that are safe and comfortable, because it's a little bit easier to go to those places that are safe and comfortable when it comes to promoting our business. And the places that I'm talking about today, or the groups that I'm talking about, is selling to our family and friends and our networking connections. Now, I'm going to expand on both of those in different ways here in just a moment, but I just want you to stick with me here, because both of these areas can be some really powerful places to allow us to build our business in an incredible way, but it can also create some super toxic relationships if we approach it from a less than happy way. So that's what I want to share with you guys today. And these are from my own experiences. That I hope gives you some insight as we move through the conversation today. So now we're going to start off here first with the family and the friends area. Our family and friends, they love us. They want us to be successful. They want us to do well, and they want to support us. But oftentimes they are not our ideal customer. They are not the people who are really going to make our business what it needs to be. And sometimes they're even thinking we're a little bit crazy for becoming this ideal customer or taking this crazy leap to being an entrepreneur. So spending a lot of time and energy selling to them or relying on them to fuel our business and to feed our income can honestly put us in some really awkward situations and create some unrealistic expectations between the two of us. It can also create an energy between you and that family member or that friend that is not necessarily supportive and encouraging. And there's a couple ways that I've seen this play out. The first one is what I like to call the pity purchase. I need to get a drink here real quick. So that pity purchase is something that I know I myself have done in the past when somebody's launching a new business, and I've had this done to me. And either way, it never feels good when something is purchased out of pity or with a bless her heart for trying mentality. That is just never feels good to either one of us. Because as a purchaser, you don't really fully understand what it is that you're buying. You're buying it out of pity. And when we don't fully understand what it is we are buying, we don't see what the value is in it. And if we don't understand the value of what it is that we're purchasing, whether it's a product or a service, we can't promote that to anybody else. We can't sing their praises to anybody else. We just buy it and either go and use the service and move on with our day, or toss the product in a drawer somewhere only to toss it out at some point when we decide to declutter. So the pity purchase is never good from the purchaser standpoint. From the seller standpoint, you know when it's a pity purchase, and we'll start getting these feelings of like, oh, I really owe this person for believing in me. And then we have this uncomfortable situation of obligation. And when we have this uncomfortable situation of obligation, we'll over-deliver, we'll over-promise. I mean, it puts us in an uncomfortable position where we're not focusing on the business and our goals and our values of a business. We're focusing on trying to make this better because we know they bought something from us out of pity. So instead of accepting that pity purchase, when you feel that that's the sense of what is happening, they're buying from you out of pity, instead of opening those doors to pity and obligation, why not take a different approach? And I jotted something down here, which you guys can check out in my blog later on, so you don't have to take notes. But instead of doing that, why not say something like this? I really appreciate you wanting to support me, but if it isn't a perfect fit for you, please don't feel obligated to buy from me. I put a lot of time and effort and energy into making products and services the best that they can be to ensure those receiving them receive the full offer. So by doing this, not only are you going to avoid that whole cycle of pity and obligation, but you're also going to demonstrate a level of professionalism with this family or friend, and that makes them see you in a whole different way. And when they see you in that whole different way as this really truly professional business owner who only wants to work with their ideal customer, they're going to be much more likely to sing your praises to those around you. And they're going to appreciate that you did not have them buy and spend their good hard-earned money out of pity. So those are one of the areas of family and friends that I wanted to consider, but there's one other one that I wanted to touch base with to talk about before we dive into networking connections today. And that is the I am doing you a favor purchase. Now this is a tough one because a lot of times when somebody is doing you a favor by purchasing something from you, whether it's a product or service, they're probably a little bit interested in what it is that you have to offer. But again, they may not fully understand or appreciate the value that you are offering them. And because they don't, they may expect you to provide them with a discount or go above and beyond your normal service offerings or product offerings. So what you can do instead in these situations is simply let them know that you are excited that they want to work with you, and yet you have to stand firm to your original pricing and service offerings. Here is what's going to happen when you do this. First of all, if they really, really do want to work with you, and it's not just, I want to work with you, but I'm also going to do you a favor because you are a new business owner, they're going to be willing to pay full price for what it is that you have to offer. Plain and simple, they're going to pay full price. And they're not going to expect special treatments. That's just how it is. If they're not sure if they want to work with you and they're interested, they'll probably watch you for a while and see how you conduct business. And when you stand firm to who you are, and you're giving your very best to the people you're meant to serve, then they're going to know a little bit more about you as a business owner, and they're going to be more interested if it's something that they actually need. Now, there are going to be times when they still will insist on a discount. Family and friends, God love them, they often insist upon the discount. But before you get into that temptation, I want to offer this piece of advice. Tell them you'll think about it. If you're really tempted to give them that discount, tell them that you're going to think about it and that you'll get back to them. And then hop over to my blog and check out the article, 3 things to consider before offering a family and friends discount, because that article is going to give you some great tips on how to handle that conversation so that you can make sure if you actually do give the discount, you are doing so in a way that is honoring and respecting both of you as well as your business. So those are some tips that I have when it comes to why you don't want to be selling to family and friends and what you want to do instead. And now I want to switch gears just a little bit. Okay, so let's talk about the networking connections, because this is a little bit differently. And honestly, I probably could have put this in its whole other separate video, but I still wanted to touch base with it today because I had talked to a couple people and mentioned that I was going to talk about it today. So we may expand on this one here in a few weeks, but for now, I just want to touch base about those networking connections and how to sell to them and why you shouldn't be focusing on just selling to your network connections. So one of the cool things about today is that the entrepreneurial world has expanded so much that we are blessed with a lot of opportunities to connect and network with people. When I first launched my first business, full-time business, I should say, 7 years ago, like there wasn't near as many opportunities available, or at least none that were easy to find when it came to networking. Now we've got networking groups, BNI groups. I'm part of a BNI group myself. I have a mastermind group that meets weekly with some other women from around the nation who are in the business world. There's coffee connections. And then of course we've got these online Facebook groups that are out there as well that we can connect with. So there's a lot of ways to get out there and to network and to promote who you are as a business owner and what it is that you have to offer. But here's the thing. Just because you have met those people and that you've received their business card from them doesn't mean that they necessarily need to buy from you or that they're going to be your ideal customer. They may be willing to pass on your information, but only if there is a relationship of trust first. And that is the piece that I think sometimes we are missing in our networking groups and our coffee connections and things like that, is we're not taking the time to build that relationship of trust. So let me give you some examples from my own experience. So I mentioned a little bit ago that I am in a BNI group, and I just joined this group last November. And BNI for Breakfast in Sioux Falls, anyone interested, shoot me a message. I love this group. In my opinion, it's the best group in Sioux Falls, but I know the other BNI chapters are pretty fabulous as well. But I joined this last November, and when I joined the group, I knew that pretty much every other business owner represented in that group had a website. I'm a web designer. They already have websites. And even my husband was like, why are you going to join this group if none of these people need your services? But that's the thing. I didn't join the group because I wanted to sell my services to my BNI people. I joined the group because I wanted to get out there and meet other people, and I wanted to get the other benefits that I receive from BNI, and I receive incredible benefits every single week. Like, it is my business church every single Tuesday morning. I love it, and I never miss. So instead of joining this group and trying to sell my services to them and say, let me redo your website because you need to have me as a web designer, I didn't approach that. I haven't tried to sell a website to anybody in the group. If they approach me, I'm there for them. But for the most part, what I do is I get up and I talk about my business and how I conduct business. I share little stories about the clients and the projects that I'm working on so that they get an idea of how I operate and what I love to work on. And then I make a point to connect with 1 or 2 members every single week for a one-on-one connection so that I get a chance to know them a little bit better and to also give them the opportunity to know me a little bit better. And so we're building a relationship of trust. And that relationship of trust has supported my business far beyond just selling a website or 2. it's supported me in more ways than words can really define. And so that's what I want you to encourage you to get out of your networking groups, rather than just going there with the purpose of selling to the people that are there. Another example of a networking situation that I went to, and let me back up a little bit. There seems to be the standard rule of practice when you attend a networking group that once you get somebody's business card, you have permission to add them to all of your marketing platforms, whether it be a Facebook group, a newsletter, a texting app, or anything like that, in the spirit of sales and networking. And this is often done before you have ever even had a conversation with the person. You just received their card when it was passed around. Here's the thing that's not really very cool, and it's not something that's going to build a relationship of trust with people. And let me give you an example of how that can come across and how it can be perceived. I went to a networking event last fall. It was a pretty large event. There was a lot of other women entrepreneurs there, and I met some incredible people there. But after attending that event, within the next couple of days, I was added to 10 new newsletters, 4 Facebook groups, 2 texting apps for sales-related text messages. Plus, I received a ton of Facebook Messenger private messages saying, buy from me because I have the best product in the world. And not one of the people who did this actually had a personal conversation with me. Needless to say, it did not build a relationship of trust. And in fact, while I'm willing to give them another opportunity, they are going to have to earn back a level of trust with me. And I'm somebody who is fast to trust. But they took my business card and they used that information to start spamming me to buy from them without ever talking to me about who they are as a person. And there's no relationship of trust there. It's just a superficial online registration. So instead of doing this, when you go to your networking events, instead of looking at all of these people, at who can I sell to and who is going to be my customer, take the approach of who can I meet here that has got a really cool business, and how can I support those people? And try to start building relationships of trust. So first of all, start with a personal conversation. Talk to them, have a conversation, ask them to learn more, and then follow up that personal conversation with an email, not a generic newsletter email, but an email that says, hey, it was great meeting you. I would love to connect for a one-on-one coffee sometime. Let me know what works for you, and invite them to do that. Once you've had that opportunity to connect with them on a personal level, and you feel that maybe they are somebody interested in your services, then invite them to be a part of your newsletter, your texting app, your Facebook group, or whatever the case is. Don't just add them without their permission. Give them the respect to invite them to the group. And then also, in return, go and like their Facebook page, their business page, interact with their posts, show that you're interested in them, and continue building that relationship by interacting with them online as well as in person, and meeting one-on-one when you have the opportunity to do so. In taking this approach, you are going to be building those relationships of trust that are going to support your business so much more than annoying people by spamming them, especially when you've never had the conversation with them. So those are my tidbits for today. I hope that you have gotten some good insight out of this and that it is helpful to you and your business. If you want to have a conversation about this or take the conversation deeper, I invite you to connect with me one-on-one. I would love to connect with you. You can catch me on my website at teresashalluf.com. Find me on my YouTube channel and make comments there. Send me an email through that website, or just send me a personal message on my business Facebook page. I would love to connect with you guys because I love meeting other people and seeing how I can support them and their business. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you guys so much again for joining me here. I hope you have a glorious rest of the day and that you have an incredible weekend ahead. And I will talk to you guys all next week. So bye.